All right, I got the go ahead. Welcome again, everyone, to our virtual fall visit day with UMass Amherst. My name is Carolynn Laurenza, and I'm an assistant director of admission here. I'm one of the admission counselors. I'm also a proud alum. I did my graduate degree here a couple of years ago and had a whole nother career and then came back to the university. I loved it so much. So we're thrilled to be here with you, even virtually. And to have you join us for our 2020 Fall Visit Day. We are so excited to be joined today, and we in admissions, of course, are so excited to be joined by our College of Engineering, our College of Information and Computer Sciences, and our renowned Commonwealth Honors College. So we hope that you enjoy this time with us and that you get lots of questions answered and some more information about the university. So before we start our full program, I wanted to mention a few things. We'll go over the schedule together, and there's a few features of the Zoom webinar that you might know if you've done these before, but you might not. Please feel free to use the Q&A feature. That is on the bottom toolbar for most people when you're looking at your screen. And you can use that to type in any questions you have throughout the program. So behind the scenes, we have some amazing people who are ready to answer your questions. There's two of my admission colleagues, Melissa and Suhilah. Thank you so much. And we also have representatives from engineering, computer science, and the Honors College. So please feel free to keep those questions coming in anytime. We'll also have a couple of opportunities for you to ask questions and us to answer them live as, you know, as faces, but we also have a lot of behind the scenes for you too. So now when you look at the schedule, take a glance. If you haven't seen this before, we'll start by hearing a quick overview of UMass from our Director of Admission. And then we'll have about 10 minutes overview of financial aid here. Then we'll hear from our College of Engineering. Then we'll have a 10-minute break, so if anyone needs that. Then we'll hear from our College of Information and Computer Sciences. Then we'll hear from the Commonwealth Honors College at about 10:40, we anticipate. And of course, throughout the program, you'll get to hear from our current students, a few from our tour guides, and again, real students in each of these programs. So you'll get the chance to ask them questions too. So we hope this is going to be a lot of fun for all of us. And of course, at the end, we're going to have us admission counselors and tour guides available to continue to answer any of your questions that come up in sort of a live format. So let's get started. It is my pleasure to introduce Mike Drish. He is our Director of First Year Admissions.
Thank you, Carolyn, and good morning, everyone. As you heard from Carolyn, my name is Mike Drish, and I'm the Director of First Year Admissions here at UMass Amherst. Welcome to our virtual Fall Visit Day. This is one of so many virtual opportunities to get to know the UMass Amherst community a little more and a little more insight into the college admission process. We are joined today by prospective students and their families from across Massachusetts, across the nation, and around the world. So thank you, all of you, for being here. I just want to take a quick moment to acknowledge that I feel for all of you. This has been a tough year to embark on your college search. It's unlike any we could have envisioned because of the pandemic. And like all of you, this pandemic has caused each of us here in Amherst to live and work differently. However, it has also made us determined, now more than ever, to share the UMass story and encourage you to become a part of it. I'm going to spend a few minutes talking about the undergraduate admission process here at UMass, and then a few reasons why I believe UMass provides a stellar undergraduate student experience. So let's jump into undergraduate admissions. A few things for you to kind of take to note about applying to UMass. The first is we accept the common application. It's open right now, and you can submit the common application at any time. So highly would recommend, if you have the time to do so, to dedicate to that and then submit the application before one of two deadlines here at UMass. The first is our early action deadline, which is November 5th. And if you apply early action, most likely you'll receive an admission decision sometime in December, most likely before the holidays. And then if you aren't able to get your application finalized by November 5th, we have our regular decision deadline, which is January 15th, and you'll receive your admission decision sometime in the spring. Both of those decision releases obviously happening well before the May 1st deadline to decide on where you're going to college. So you have a wide range of options with early action or regular decision here at UMass. Once you submit your application, no matter whether it's early action or regular decision, it's helpful to know a little bit about our approach to the undergraduate admission process here. The first thing for you to know is we have a holistic, individualized process. That means every single application is thoroughly reviewed by trained readers, including many of the people, Carolyn, myself, and others that are answering your questions today. All of your achievements are taken into consideration, including your non-academic achievements. And we are looking for students who are engaged in their community. We want to see students who have made an impact, who have found ways to make a difference, who are engaged and active in what they love to do. And what's most important is we're looking to assemble a diverse class. UMass welcomes students of all backgrounds and experiences as a part of our campus community. So context is extremely important in our admission review process. And so the way I like to frame our admission process is we receive over 40,000 applications every year. So there's a significant amount of interest in UMass. And we obviously have more qualified applicants than space in our first year class. So we look well beyond the qualitative factors like GPA or test score to assess an applicant's academic credentials in context. And so what are we considering? What are the factors we're looking at? Well, as you can see from the slide here, obviously your academic achievement is one of the most important factors. We are looking at school and personal context. Did you take advantage of the opportunities available to you inside and outside of the classroom within the context of your school environment, the resources available to you? We look at your activities. It's quality over quantity. We're looking at impact and dedication. We also value work experience. So that's just as valuable as any activity. So help us understand the decisions you made, how you're spending your time outside of the classroom, and why you made those decisions. We also will require essays. We only require the common application essay, and then we have 2 custom questions on the UMass Amherst supplement. We require 1 academic letter of recommendation, and then we also look at your special talents, life challenges, special circumstances, and finally, depending on the school or college you apply to at UMass, there could be supplemental materials for specific programs. These could include portfolios, auditions, especially for our talent-based majors. So that's the what of our admission process. So what are we looking at? What are the factors we consider? Once we assemble all of that together, which it's all in your application, how do we go about selecting students for admission? So the how is the holistic review process. So the admission review at UMass reflects those thoroughly trained readers, thoughtful consideration, following a very extensive review of every piece of the application, and then determining whether the student applicant has demonstrated both an ability to do the work and has made a compelling argument for their admission to UMass Amherst. Our holistic review is focused on behaviors and attitudes, such as a love of learning, intellectual curiosity. We look at high school to know if students will be successful academically in college, and full contributors to the vibrant campus community like we have here at UMass. So your personal achievements and characteristics are a core component of our individualized holistic review. We look for those students who have personal qualities such as their character, motivation, whether or not they've made an impact, leadership ability, maturity, a demonstrated concern for others in their community, and as I mentioned earlier, that academic foundation, whether or not a student has demonstrated their intellectual curiosity. So now that you know the what and the how, a few key important updates for this year. First and foremost, we can't say it more directly, UMass Amherst is test optional. That means, and you'll notice I didn't talk about test scores in kind of the what, because they're not a required part of our application process. For the next 3 years, we will not require standardized test scores for admission or scholarship selection. It is so important to reiterate that if you refrain from submitting test scores, that will not hurt you nor disadvantage you in any way at UMass Amherst. If you've taken the tests and would like to submit them, or will have the chance to take the test and want to submit them, you're welcome to do so. Just as in past years, standardized testing is one of many factors, and one factor, no matter what it is, does not drive an admissions or scholarship award decision. We are looking at you as an entire applicant, looking at everything we ask about, and those grades or the GPA or the test score, if you choose to submit it, are a few of multiple factors that will lead to your admission. Now, our decision to be test optional was a result of the ongoing pandemic. We know that many of you will have limited, if no, access to being able to take a standardized test score, but I also wanted to take a minute to reiterate some other application expectations during the pandemic. We do not live in a bubble in college admissions. We have all been impacted by the pandemic. We know you have. And so one thing that's critical for you to know, if your academic achievement will be evaluated in the context of any obstacles you have faced that are beyond your control. These would be things like pass-fail grades, possibly even the availability of courses being limited because of changes to your school's curriculum or schedule. Those are things beyond your control. You will not be held liable for those. We just need to understand your situation and your context. You also will not be disadvantaged in our admission process because of changes or limitations to clubs, activities, or those usual summer activities that you would have experienced but didn't this year because of the pandemic. We also know that the pandemic and the ongoing situation has created a huge array of needs. These could be things like you having to contribute more to helping your family, possibly providing family income, tutoring younger siblings or helping them with their schoolwork. You might be assisting with things like supporting senior citizens, assistance with food delivery, or even taking on a job in a number of different ways. If you have been in a position to respond to those types of needs during this pandemic, we want to know. Those family contributions are important. Those other things that you may be doing with your time are important to understand. But at the same time, I want all of you to know that if your life, other than having to take classes at home, being at home more, that's the extent of how the pandemic has influenced you, you do not have to dwell on it. You can talk about other facets of your 4 years of high school experience, not just the last few months. So that said, I wanted to share a few expectations around admissions or about the pandemic. That's a little overview about the undergraduate admission process at UMass. I hope that that is helpful insight as you complete the common application and hopefully click submit in early November and are considered for UMass. Now, before I go, I would be remiss if I didn't spend just a few minutes touting a few key elements about the UMass community. And I want to talk a little bit about our academic experience and the students that make this an incredible institution, as you'll see when you hear from many of them today. So in terms of the UMass academic experience, a few things to highlight. First and foremost, we have over 100 majors in 10 different colleges or schools. It's not just the vast academic and research possibilities that set UMass apart. We also offer a variety of learning environments, from small class settings to large lecture classes with discussion sections. The good news is, out of those thousands and thousands of courses offered to you at UMass, 81% of them have 40 or fewer students. So most students are surprised by the size of the classes that they experience here at UMass. In each of those settings, though, whether or not it's a larger class or a smaller class, you're educated by engaged faculty who are here to teach, but also finding ways to make an impact in their fields. UMass is a research powerhouse, and as early as your first year, many students are involved in real world-changing research. Another hallmark of our academic experience you'll get to hear about today is the Commonwealth Honors College, which offers small classes, a residential community, specific curriculum, research, and programs, and you'll hear a lot more about that hallmark of the academic experience here at UMass in just a little bit. But I also want to talk about our student community, because it's one thing to know that you're at one of the leading research universities in the country, but it's also nice to know that you're surrounded by a great group of students. And UMass is home to a diverse, welcoming, supportive community of over 24,000 undergraduates. The majority of our students are from all across Massachusetts, but about a fourth come from outside of Massachusetts. And they come from states across the US and countries across the globe, so a wide variety of students here. Of those 24,000 undergraduates, about 21% of them are the first in their family to attend a four-year university, or first generation is the term you may have heard. 30% of those undergraduates are from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups, and about 27% of those students are from low socioeconomic backgrounds. So UMass students truly do represent every form of diversity, a wide range of backgrounds and experiences, and that is one of the reasons why we have a wide range of resources to ensure that almost all of our first-year students thrive during their first year at UMass, return, and graduate after 4 years. That's right, we also graduate the vast majority of our students in 4 years. We love you, we want you to be here, but we want you to be in, out, and on your way in 4 years. Unlike a lot of public universities, we also have a large supportive residential community here at UMass. 100% of first-year students live on campus, and the majority of UMass undergraduates live on campus during their 4 years here. So as this large, diverse campus community, we work continuously to improve our relations between students from so many different backgrounds. We strive for every student to arrive at UMass and feel welcomed and feel comfortable in an environment where they feel safe and can easily learn and flourish to their greatest potential. Active initiatives that we've undertaken include things like our new Racial Justice Coalition, focused on achieving a racially just and oppressive-free environment, our Hate Has No Home at UMass campaign, and the You Matter at UMass initiative to reinforce a campus community of care, compassion, and active engagement. So the key takeaway is we care about you. Undergraduate students are our primary focus at UMass. It's a large, diverse group of students studying a wide array of majors coming from many different backgrounds, and that's what makes us such a compelling campus community, and we really hope that you will be able to join us. So you'll walk away today with a lot of great insight. You're in terrific hands with this friendly, knowledgeable group of UMass campus representatives. We are all here to help you. We all want your path to UMass to be as smooth as possible. And so anything we can all do to help, do not hesitate to let us know. This virtual event is one of many ways we can show you that we care and we have your back in this challenging time. So thank you for taking some time out of a Sunday morning to engage with UMass. You will not be disappointed, and best of luck with your college admission process and your college search. And hopefully we'll see you on campus next fall here in Amherst. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mike. And you heard Mike speaking about some of our amazing students in our community here. So let's meet one of them. It is my pleasure to introduce our student keynote speaker, Grace McBrien.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grace McBrien. I'm a senior at UMass, majoring in pre-veterinary sciences. I'm also an out-of-state student, originally from Long Island, New York. On campus, I work as an admissions fellow and as a campus tour guide, so I get to help out at all these virtual events, whether it be fall visit days like this one, virtual information sessions, or student guided visits.